Well, Hanoi Jane's at it again, spreading her communist ideas and goals and agendas. She blames white men for the climate crisis, calls for them to be arrested and jailed. Aw, that's un-American, Jane. Un-American. Now, I'm pretty sure that you and your Fauci science-based scientist on The View, it may sound right, but you guys always get it wrong. You see, we learned a long time ago, Democrats cannot think for themselves. That's why you have the United Nations to give them all this information about utter nonsense for these people to spread. And I mean utter nonsense. Oh, Jane. Hanoi Jane Fonda said white men are to blame for the climate crisis and called for them to be jailed. She made these remarks at the Cannes Film Festival on Saturday. She traveled all the way to the Cannes, France, to lecture people on climate change. Boy, she burned up some points there, didn't she? Huh? Oh, good God. We've got about 7 or 8 years to cut ourselves in half of what we use in fossil fuel. Lady, the hot air comes from Democratic women. Like you, the girls from The View, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, you name it. It goes on and on. That's where the greenhouse gases are coming from. We know it. Jane Fonda earlier this year said the climate change crisis is due to racism and evil white men. Thank God for her Fauci scientist background. Yep. In 1972, Hanoi Jane Fonda applauded an NVA anti-aircraft gun crew during her trip to North Vietnam. These guns were used to shoot down American planes and contributed to the deaths of American airmen. Jane Fonda once said, "If you understood what communism was, you would hope, you would pray on your knees that we would someday become communist." People, I'm not exaggerating. I'm going to zoom this. You guys see. Jane Fonda once said, "If you understood what communist was, you would hope, you would pray on your knees that we would someday become communist." Wow. You would think that since she doesn't like it here, that she would take her 99 cents from her royalties and move to Cuba or some other communist state where she'd be welcome, where her views would be, enjoyed. But not here in America. This is the land of the free. Here she is. Yes, I can remember the time when people had pinups of her, but they had holes in it. Nobody knew where the holes come from. Jane Fonda recently said that pro-life activists and politicians should be murdered, mind you, for their beliefs on abortion during an appearance on ABC, The View. Wow. The View. That's like a brain trust over there for Democrats. That's the brain trust. Besides marching and protesting, what else do you suggest? Murder, said Jane Fonda. What did you say? Tomlin asked. Murder, Jane replied. Well, like I said, you take your communist ideas and your agenda and take that with the United States and take the girls from the View. You guys skip a rope and go to Cuba or some other place. You're not wanted here. Nobody likes you. You're not smart enough to think for yourselves. That's why you're called a Democrat. Poor little thing. Must have been the schooling. Yes, sir, boy. Yes, sir. If you understood what communism was, you would hope, you would pray on your knees that we would someday become communist. Well, girl, Fauci-based scientific approach does not hold water here. Like I said, you're a Democrat. Democrats can only pass on what the United Nations tells them to say. It's been the thing all along. You could always move in with Al Gore or take him to Cuba with you. And you guys have all the answers to nothing. There's been climate change since the world started, and there'll be climate change afterward. But it's nice to hear from you again. I mean, we thought you were dead. Well, that's what we hoped. Oh, well. Jane Fonda blames the white men. Should be arrested and jailed. Oh, Jane, when you go to that communist country, take along your communist professors too. We need to get them out of our schools.